In today's video, I'm going to be discussing how to become a self-actualizer and what the 6 habits of self-actualizers are. And this is a very important topic right now because of the total solar eclipse that we had on Monday, which had a specifically electrifying and awakening type of energy to it. If you were lucky enough to have visibility and you were able to see this absolutely gorgeous spectacle, this celestial event, then consider yourself very lucky. And this total solar eclipse in that case is even more of a message for you. It's delivering an even more powerful hit to your existence and delivering an even more powerful message. So it had this very electrifying, this very magical vibe to it. I don't know if you felt it. I certainly did. It was almost like Twilight Zone kind of energy. It had a very interesting energy to it. And it was meant to shock us out of any complacency, the slumber that many of us have been sleeping in for quite some time or have been stuck in for quite some time. This solar eclipse was really the divine shaking us awake. It was waking us up to who we truly are as individuals and telling us and urging us to go and reinvent ourselves, to reinvent our life. So if you are feeling that within yourself at this point, and you are feeling this deep urge within yourself to really change something about your life, then it is time to now act upon that change and to really initiate certain steps that need to be taken to get your life to that next level. This solar eclipse was also about bringing awareness to what needs to change within your life so that you can embody the best, most authentic version of yourself. The gift of the solar eclipse is bringing you the courage to truly dare to be yourself, to dare to be happy. And I'm talking here like deep, soulful kind of happy, where you are so genuinely in love with your life that nothing can shake you or break you out of that joy, that fulfillment, that happiness. It's the type of happiness that brings out the raw, real, unapologetic, and limitless version of yourself. That is the type of happiness that the divine is now ushering us into, is asking us to step into, to take action to make that happen within our lives. Only we are solely responsible for our lives, for how we live it, and for how much enjoyment we get out of life, right? So this is truly a wake-up call for us to pursue actions that we enjoy, to do the things that truly make us happy, and to stop doing the things that don't make us happy. It's actions that make you feel good about yourself and your life, regardless of other people's opinions. It's about daring to fall in love with yourself and your life. It's about daring to feel happy because you're alive, even if everything isn't perfect in your life in this very moment. It's about daring to feel pleased with yourself and with what you've accomplished so far, no matter how messy the journey was to get there. To feel pleased with your children and their accomplishments. To stop looking at all of the negative aspects all the time, all of the ways in which we are dissatisfied. Because these are the moments that matter, that just feel right, that give your life meaning. And feeling this way is central to living out who you really are. But to live this way, you must value yourself and your life deeply and wholeheartedly. You must become a self-actualizer. Psychologist Abraham Maslow, who spent his life studying human pathology, says that human beings who live their lives with great energy, creativity, and joy are self-actualizers. They tend to be the healthiest people in society, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. They prize simplicity, wholeness, effortlessness, authenticity, truth, honesty, uniqueness, completeness, and perfection. And this isn't like egotistical perfection, but rather recognizing perfection in everything. Self-actualizers are people who frequently have peak experiences, moments of great happiness, rapture, and ecstasy, where their life's conflicts are transcended or resolved, even if just temporarily. A self-actualizer is a fully functioning person. Now, out of Maslow's work emerged a whole new picture of what it means to be human. It's time to let your natural self-actualizing tendencies develop and grow, which in most of us is still very weak or dormant. And until they grow, you will regress back into fear, frustration, or laziness. But once they become stronger, your life becomes an ongoing process of growth, unfolding potential, and simply much happier. As you become more and more self-actualizing and begin to live more and more from your soul, peak experiences become more frequent. They become more natural in your life. It's time to create that new vision of you and your life, because it's never too late to reinvent yourself and to reinvent your life, no matter how old you are, no matter what your age. All you need is a clear vision of how you want yourself and your life to look and feel, and knowing your why. Why you want to create a better life and a better version of yourself. Hold that clear picture and how it feels, and call it up within you whenever you're feeling unsure of your goals or your direction. The self-actualizer recognizes that the destructive, self-defeating tendencies that we all have are not indicative of the hidden truth of a person, but rather the results of frustration in the self or in the soul, and with life itself. Now let's take a look at the 6 characteristics of a self-actualizer. Number 1 is that they have an exceptional ability to cope with change and learn from it. Now, for most people, change is unsettling and it's frightening. It's the definition of stepping outside their comfort zone. But it doesn't need to be scary. It all depends on how you look at it, what your perspective about change is. We all face change with fear, but the more you live from your core, from your soul, the more you will view change not as threatening, but as a challenge that you can learn and grow from. And failure, instead of being a source of fear, can be viewed as something that shows us how to deal with a similar situation in the future. Failure always teaches us what needs to be done differently. The second characteristic of a self-actualizer is that they have no problem saying no. Assertiveness implies a strong sense of your individual right to your values and opinions, and a tendency to respect the rights of others. You need to be able to say no to a food or drink you don't want, a request from a lover or spouse, a demand from a child or a colleague. The best way to develop healthy assertiveness is by simply practicing it. Only when you are positively assertive is when you can discover what real unselfishness is, because then what you give is what you choose to give, not what you feel obligated to give. The third characteristic of a self-actualizer is a well-conditioned body. This brings you energy, it helps you cope with stress better, it helps you look better and younger, it strengthens your sense of self-reliance, it shifts hormonal balance and brain chemistry, making you actually highly resistant to depression and anxiety, and highly prone to feeling good about yourself and your life. It increases your stamina, strength, and flexibility, physically and emotionally. The fourth characteristic of a self-actualizer is an absence of common ailments and troubles. The Monday morning blues or aches and pains in your joints after the age of 40 are not normal. A self-actualizer does not experience these. Normal means moving with ease and feeling pretty good about things day after day, even really good. Not because something amazing just happened, because when you're really fit and well, that is the normal way to feel. The fifth characteristic of a self-actualizer is that laughter comes easily to them. This is an ability to laugh at the absurd and at yourself when appropriate. A sense of fun are perhaps the most important of all high energy characteristics of a self-actualizer. Joy is health-giving. The most delightful sense of humor often parallels a strong sense of purpose in a person. You have to be able to laugh. You have to be willing to laugh at yourself. And a self-actualizer can laugh at themselves and can also laugh at the absurdities of life. And the sixth and final characteristic of a self-actualizer is integrity. The more you become a self-actualizer, the more you set your own standards and live up to them. Your values become a source of strength and energy for you. You don't compromise them to achieve some temporary advantage. You can feel the truth, be who you really are, and make your life work for you. So to be the person you believe you should be are only of lasting value if you value yourself and live your life on that assumption. So this total solar eclipse is asking all of us individually to become a self-actualizer, to actually give ourselves this opportunity to really live a happy, fulfilling life. But that starts with making some changes, those changes that perhaps you may be afraid of right now, those changes that you know and you have known for some time that you need to make. And what I want to suggest here is take your time with this. Like, this doesn't have to be something where you all of a sudden decide you have to do everything all at once. On the contrary, I find that people always have success in life when they are willing to take it one step at a time. One day you introduce something different for lunch than maybe your typical lunch, or you get up 15 minutes earlier to do breathwork practice, or you get up a half an hour earlier so that you can maybe go for a jog before you start your day. Becoming a self-actualizer is a process. It's not something that we can become overnight. It is habits that we adopt and we swap out our bad habits with. These are certain actions that we take, and most importantly, it is a mindset. It is about really shifting your mindset about your life. That's why it's really important that you value yourself and your life to such an extent that you are willing to make these uncomfortable shifts that will create the absolute best version of yourself that will help you to become a self-actualizer. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the description box below for all of the details of my services and different offerings that I have. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.